Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Greetings and salutations, and a big warm welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, I'm going to share with you a little story today. The very reason that I'm sat here talking to you is because of a guy called Andy Corrigan, who over 12 years ago messaged me and said, Neil, you're a passionate gamer. Would you like to help me launch my gaming website, This Is My Joystick? And this is where I honed my craft as a tech writer, and he helped me rid myself of so many bad habits. I was awful back then, but he was so patient with me, and I owe him so much for actually putting me on this road. And there was a great crew over there at This Is My Joystick, and I learned so much from the work ethic of guys like Ray Wilmot and Neil Hickton Collins, who actually taught me how to podcast. Because back then I worked with so many of the big publishers and was able to get the team to attend and cover such huge events such as the BAFTA Gaming Awards and E3 in LA. Crazy times, and a big thank you to everyone that was involved back then. Something I'll never forget. Isn't it funny how when we look back and join up the dots, how pouring hours of work into something that is a labour of love actually goes on to pave the way for something that you go on to do in the future. But why am I taking you on this trip down memory lane? Mainly because I've got a great guest on today who's aiming to transform the gaming industry. And that is a topic that has always been close to my heart. So that's why I wanted to tell you my little story. So Ultra is building a first-class PC game publishing platform and marketplace that puts an end to the current distribution monopoly. It was founded in 2017 by Nicolas Gilot and David Hanson, and Ultra's vision is to provide developers with the flexibility of a custom-built platform while also bringing exciting innovations and financial incentives to players, making the development of a new breakthrough game distribution platform possible. It's understandably been described as Steam on steroids by gamers, so I'm quite excited to say, buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to Brussels in Belgium so we can speak with Nicolas Gilot, founder and CEO at Ultra. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Nicolas. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hey, hi Neil. Thank you for having me today. Hi everyone. So basically, I'm the co-CEO and co-founder of Ultra, which is a game distribution platform initially. We have much more to come. But basically, I come from a background of entrepreneurship. So I built 5-6 companies nowadays, mainly in the IT sphere. The last 4 companies were game companies. So we built a PC game studio, a mobile game studio, monetization strategy company as well. And recently, we also developed a game console. So for the Chinese market in partnership with AMD. So basically to replace Nintendo, but for China. Basically, lots of time spent in the game industry. And also, I started in the Bitcoin/blockchain industry back in 2011. So I started mining and then trading back then. I've been following the space since a very long time. So both passions, I would say, can merge into one new project.
Now, like you said there, Ultra is building its first-class PC game publishing platform and marketplace that puts an end to the current distribution monopoly. So gamers from the PC master race, I probably know all about you already, but can you just, for everybody else, can you just offer the listeners an overview of exactly what Ultra is and what makes you guys unique and your approach unique to everything else out there?
So basically, if you think about Ultra, so it's like a Apple App Store or Google Play Store for mobile, but the same for PC gamers. So when you have a PC, when you want to buy games, you go to a platform, and this is now Ultra. So empirically, this been a Steam that's been around for 15 years. That's been the main contender. And so now, basically, we are creating a new platform that allows publishers, developers to increase their revenue, provide new features, and at the same time, for the players, now they have the capacity to interact directly with the publishers and developers to earn money through the platform. So actually, using all the services present on Ultra rewards them with tokens. So they can use those tokens to then buy more games or services, which at the end of the day is basically free for them.
So I've got to ask, I mean, what's the story behind Ultra, and what was the inspiration, and what put you on this journey to provide developers with that flexibility of a custom-built platform, while also bringing, I think it's like exciting innovations and financial incentives to the players themselves, and make the development of this new breakthrough game distribution platform actually possible and get it out there?
Yeah, so basically behind the idea and the story behind Ultra is that we had like PC Game Studio. When I say we, I have a co-founder and co-CEO, which is on the project as well, and that we've been building many companies together already. So we worked on these numerous studios, and the main struggle we had also was with Steam, where it's very expensive. When you want to publish there, you have to pay 30% commission fee, which is the same as Apple App Store or Google Play Store. At the same time, you also don't have the capacity to grow your community in a healthy way or do the marketing. So you spend a lot of money on your game, which is great because you need that to have. You need people to work on it. You need technology to build something great. But after that's done, that's the first step. The second step, you have to do the marketing. And that's where the second round of money comes in. So that's really troublesome for everyone in the industry to actually stand out from the crowd. So that's like, I would say, close to 300 games published every month on Steam. So which means it's very hard to pierce through the noise. So the thing is, we had this in mind. So make it more fair for developers, give them a decent price, so we have half the price compared to Steam, for example. At the same time, they have the capacity to build their user base even before the game starts, and have access to a wide range of marketing tools. So it's very simple for them actually to tap into the new way to market games, which is like influencer marketing, blogs. So people don't really go through advertisement anymore. It's mainly, okay, I love that game. I will talk about it to my friends, or I'm a big Twitch streamer or YouTube, and then I can actually make a video about the game, and I benefit from it. So everyone basically in this ecosystem, the idea behind it is to make something that is fair for everyone, and that everyone wins in some way.
Now, when I read that Ultra was created by industry heavyweights and former Xbox, Atari, Dell, Uber and Time Warner executives, I had to get on the show as quickly as possible. I mean, but for all those gamers that are listening today, can you just share a few insights and experiences of the unfairness that has traditionally frequented the video game industry, which people that are playing the games don't necessarily get to hear about?
Yeah, that's totally right. Actually, there is as a gamer, because I used to play lots of games in my life. I started very early, probably spent all my years doing that, which at the end of the day was a good thing. which was so the thing is, you don't really see that aspect, which is for example, the developers, they have to have most of the time a publisher because they need this marketing budget to push their game. So they first cut down on a percentage of their sales, and they cut a second time on the platform side. So at the end of the day, they really work for maybe 15 or 20% of the revenue of their game. The rest is spread out to everybody else. So that's pretty unfair for them. So that's something that we solve fully with Ultra. And on top of that, for the players, it's also harder because they have access right now to many different platforms that are really segmented. And the reason why is because the main one is quite expensive. So all the big AAA publishers, they tend to avoid it. So the player, he has to install Origin, Uplay, and all the various platforms to actually have access to all these games, which is very troublesome for him. And there is no real, I would say, interaction with the developers. You play their games, and that's about it. You can't really have any interaction. Like, okay, I can participate to the beta, I can afford my support, and I can get rewarded for that. All those kind of experience is not available currently.
It's a fascinating subject, and there seems to be so many opportunities in this industry. So I want to delve a little bit deeper and ask, how is Ultra actually offering a new way of working that is fairer to these developers that we're talking about, and also introducing new revenue streams, providing effective marketing tools, and actually establishing a rich token-based economy?
Yeah, so actually, the blockchain provides us with the capacity to create all that. Reason why is because you actually have solution like nano payments, instant payments. So all those kind of system provides capacity to create new features. One of those, if I may take one simple example, is you're a game developer. So you want definitely for people to notice your game. So what you can do, you can set, for example, I will give 5% or 10%, you pick, of the revenue to the people who actually sell the game. So for example, if I'm now an influencer, I can say, oh, I really like that game. I'm going to make a video about it. And anyone who's purchasing the game through the video as an influencer, I get rewarded the percentage right away. So which means for me, I have if I do a great job, I get more revenue. If I'm a developer, I actually don't need to pay upfront for marketing. I just pay when actually people sell the game. And for the players, the great aspect is all those games that are available that usually might be really great but fully unknown because there is just no marketing budget. The developers actually have the support from the community to do the marketing. So I, as a gamer, I can push a game I like. I will be rewarded for it. So that's pretty cool.
Now, I've seen Ultra described as Steam on steroid for PC games. That's a tagline you might want to think about taking there. It gets the message across straight away. But for those listening that think of blockchain as just another buzzword, I have to ask, what made you choose blockchain, and why does this technology offer something that prevented you or others from doing something similar in the past?
So the blockchain provides a very significant advantage that were not available, at least not in this form initially. One example is the nano payment. So what it makes is that I can pay someone 1 cent without having to pay a transaction fee of the bank, which would be maybe 50 cents. So just this simple element, it allows, for example, us to provide a revenue to a player. So say I will watch an advertisement from, let's say Assassin's Creed. As a player, I receive a little bit of money that can get paid in tokens, which you couldn't do as with USD. If you would pay someone USD or euro or pounds, that wouldn't work. It would be just too expensive to do that. So that's a very tiny example, but this nano payment is extremely important because it applies to many different services and can create new features. The second aspect is the instant payment. So the fact of being paid right away by after a sale, as a developer, you can reinvest your money in your marketing, for example. So you don't have to wait the standard up to 60 days payment period, which is fine because there is all type of credit card issues you might have. So you always have to keep some security, which we do. But at the same time, you don't benefit from it. So you can't really use that to grow your game at launch. So that's a big problem for the industry. The blockchain also allows you to track all transactions. So which means when something happens, for example, if I'm a developer and then I will pay someone for advertisement, I will tell you as an advertisement company, hey, I shown 100,000 advertisement. Please pay me for 100,000 advertisement. But I have to trust you, and you're the guy in between. If you say 200, you make more money, right? Yeah. So it's very hard to say it can be fair. So the way we do that also with this tracking of transaction, we can make sure that everything is fair all the time and everyone can track it. So these are a couple of advantages you have with blockchain, but you also have the fact of you don't need a middleman. So everyone can just use a smart contract and then use the smart contract to process transactions. They don't need to ask me. They just need to ask a piece of code living on the internet. That's it.
There's so much talk at the moment about cryptocurrencies, but it's increasingly feeling like trust and transparency are the new currency. So you mentioned smart contracts there. Could you just delve a little bit deeper in there and tell me a little bit more about the program and the programmability and how it's built into it, and the role of the Ultra coins, UTA, and what that plays in all this too?
Yeah, totally. I would say the smart contract is, to me, the biggest advancement on the blockchain side. That's a piece of code that's living alone, so you can trust it, you can read it, and you can use it. So what do we use? We are built on top of the EOS protocol, so we are EOS sidechain. And basically, we are using the smart contract to process every transactions. So which means if one day I want to buy a game, this game not going to be bought through a simple payment. We will receive this payment if you pay with credit card, PayPal, or whatever, and then we can actually use this to purchase tokens. And those tokens are then used to process the transactions. So the same way, if you're a user, you receive tokens over time. Like, for example, as a player, I can participate to a beta test. As a developer, I will say, I want players who are like between 16 and 24, or like FPS type of games. And then we as a platform, we can pinpoint the right audience. So this audience can get rewarded in tokens for participating to this beta test and provide feedback to the developer. And once they have this coin in hand, they can actually use them to purchase games or services directly using the smart contract capabilities. And I would say one key advantage also, that's why I was mentioning EOS earlier, is that EOS provide a capacity to also update the smart contract, which is not possible with multiple other blockchains. So when you have a mistake, if you code something, sometimes you make a mistake. It's possible, right? Everyone does. EOS provide you the capacity to repair that mistake, which is great, or you would end up with many problems, right?
You don't want that.
Yeah.
But the success of Steam, Google, and Apple's app stores over the last 10 years has been unrivaled. So how do you see Ultra competing against heavyweights like this, and how long do you think it will take before you can make a meaningful impact that you're aiming for?
That's right. Actually, if you see the landscape, you have Steam, been around for a while. Google and Apple are definitely the two main platforms for the mobile game industry. But we don't tackle Google and Apple right away. That's going to be a second step. We're focused on the PC game market because that's where the biggest problem is, because there is only one contender, I would say, and there is a lot to disrupt. So we started there. The way we do initially is that for having a successful product and platform, you need users and you need content. So on the content side, we already have a great relationship with most of the AAA developers. Most of them provided games to put on the platform, even some that are not on Steam. And in terms of users, we actually have huge partners. So we've been in the industry for a while. We also have been very active in China. And so we have one partner that we're going to announce in the coming months that brings right away 70 million users to the platform. So when we start the platform, we start with 70 million users. So that's basically 3 times more than what Steam has in China. So that gives you an idea of, they have around 130, 40 million users. So we are already at half of what they have. So that gives a good head start for us. And on top of that, the fact of having all these cool features for the marketing, for the players, is very great for indie developers to come on the platform. They are much more visible and they can earn much more money. And for the AAA publishers, which were not on the 30% commission fee type of platforms, now they can be on Ultra because it just makes sense for them. It's not much more expensive than running their own platform, but remove all the hassle of doing it.
Now, I recently read that Ultra is making gaming fun again. So I've got to ask, I mean, do you think that the industry has lost its way a little? Because I think we both grew up in an era where bedroom developers gave birth to unique, fun indie games. For example, from my own point of view, I remember Jeff the Yak Minter and Llamatron and so many great games that he created that were just fun. And over the years, they've just been replaced by tech behemoths such as EA and yearly franchises that we see. So do you think it's lost its way at all?
I would say that 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you had like the era of all the box game, which lasted until maybe 10 years ago, which is still available today, but this was very expensive. For anyone to publish a game, you had to go through all the process. It was really cumbersome. But today, I would say it's better in terms of distribution. So that's easier for small indie developers to publish. But at the same time, it requires an enormous budget now to make a game. If you want to make a huge game, like the games you mentioned by EA, you get to be ready. Yeah. But the thing is, Unity and Unreal, for example, are 2 great game engines. And now it's getting simpler and simpler to use, which means for a small, like 2-3-person team, 10-person team, they can actually make a good game with much less budget than they used to do. So that's, to me, is an advancement for the industry. And at the same time, if you check the blockchain game industry, right now you have mainly indie developers because it's very complicated. It's in its infancy. So which means it's very hard for big publishers to wrap their head around it and pour resources on it. So now the land grab is done by the indie developers, which is great. So they have a head start there. And the fact when they come on Ultra, so the great idea also behind the platform is that we offer them the capacity now to have the same marketing power as big behemoths. So now they can start right away with some small budget and grow over time because they get instantly paid back. They can reinvest this money to get a better loan. So the higher they go into their kickstart, the better their long tail will be. So that's very important to understand because the big game publisher had some sort of monopoly because it's very hard to publish worldwide and they do all the requirement the marketing required. But now the small indie developers also have the capacity to do that.
So if we do have any gamers or indeed developers listening, can you just help paint a picture of the very different game industry that you have in mind, just so they can visualise your excuse the pun, end game?
Totally. No, exactly. Here, the idea behind and the current states of the industry are very different. So right now you have sort of developers versus publishers versus players versus platform. Everyone tend to have their own advantage, their own benefits. The platforms obviously want to have the highest cut. The publishers want to make the highest cut but get the best games. The players is harder to find because it's on multiple platforms and some games are exposed. So this whole ecosystem is a little bit complicated for the moment. And so the way we want to do that is really make it one healthy ecosystem where everybody wins and feels at ease, something that is fair for everyone. So where basically users can have access to all the services within one click. For example, no barrier. If they want to participate to a tournament, they don't have to go register on someone else's platform. Everything is within the same ecosystem. So it's very simple and straightforward for everyone. A little bit like you have, if I take the example of Apple and the iPhone. So when they released the iPhone, they actually somehow killed the competition. Reason why is because they gave the capacity to everyone to benefit from it. So that anyone who can create an application can come on the Apple App Store, and then people are like, okay, well, great, now I can make my business out of it. And people, as a user, now they have access to new application within the same device they purchased. So that's great. So that's the same mindset we have behind the platform, is to have basically the capacity for everyone to benefit from it, whether it's the influencers, whether it's the players, the publishers, the developers. They will all be much more advantaged than before. They have much more benefit than before.
Well, a huge thank you for coming on today. But before I do let you go, just for anyone listening, can you let them know where they can find you online, maybe join your online community and just stay up to speed with all the developments over the next few months?
Sure. So definitely you can come to ultra.io, which is our main website. There is many information about the project, where we are currently. You can also follow us on Telegram. The link is directly available on the website. And then you can contact us for if you're looking for a job, if you're a developer, if you're a gamer who has questions, you can contact us at contact@ultra.io.
Excellent. Now, gaming is such a big business right now, and a lot of the income from the gaming industry dwarfs even Hollywood. You've got the big franchises that are coming out in the next few months that are going to be earning much more than any Hollywood blockbuster. It's just insane. But equally, within that huge business, there is a lot of unfairness. And it seems that you're using technology to bring trust and transparency into that issue, and it's so needed. And anyone that's listening in the video game industry will know that. So a big thank you, though, for just raising awareness and telling your story today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Neil, for having me today. Let me know if anyone has questions, please reach out. I will be happy to go through that and provide answers. Thanks a lot.
I know all too well about the problems in the gaming industry and the problems facing developers. And as mobile gamers, we love a free mobile game on our smartphone. But we very seldom think about that indie game developer that has spent hours creating that cool, unique game that we're enjoying. That is a challenge on itself, just getting somebody to pay 69p or 99p to buy the game. And that's something that blows my mind as well. You know, we're quite happy spending £4 or £5 on a cup of coffee from Starbucks, but as someone 69p for a game and they go, whoa, what's that all about? How we define value now seems to be completely different. So when I read that Ultra was created by industry heavyweights and former Xbox, Atari, Dell, Uber and Time executives, and put that along with how Ultra plans to disrupt the distribution monopoly in the gaming industry by being fairer to developers, introducing new revenue streams, providing effective marketing tools and establishing a rich token-based economy, it set off alarm bells in my head. And you could just imagine me shouting, yes, 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 a little bit like Meg Ryan in When Harry Met Sally. But don't worry, I'm not going to put you through any rendition of that. So instead, I'm simply going to pass the microphone over to you. Let me know your thoughts about this project by emailing me techblogwriter@outlook.com or tweeting me @Neil C. Hughes. And you can also pop by my website, techblogwriter.co.uk. If you go to podcasts, you'll find out how you can just hit a button and record me a virtual voicemail. Apart from that, the only other bit of news I've got for you is my podcast launch and editing program is officially open now, where I'm going to take another class of students and businesses from zero to launching their own podcast and have 8 episodes edited by me. So I take away all those tech and time constraints away and help people get their own podcast up and running. But that's it from me. So keep your insights and opinions coming over. I'm the easiest guy in the world to find online and I am quite approachable, so keep them coming over. But a big thank you for listening. Keep on gaming, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.